Wonderful people, welcome to Teachcrest International. This is Teachcrest International, and I am your host, Ruth Kerubo. Yeah, this is the fountain of knowledge. So, we want to continue with the desertification, the aridity. So, we want to consider the human causes of desertification and aridity. So the formula that you want to use is IP powder. So I is for industrialization, we have population increase, we have poor farming practices, we have overgrazing, and we have deforestation. So let's begin with industrialization. So industrialization basically refers to the process whereby we are introducing industries, so the factories, the processing zones, the assembling plants, etc. So here we have emission of industrial emissions such as the carbon dioxide. For example, this is a cement company. You shall have emission of carbon dioxide. Yeah, we can also have the thermal pollution. So these contribute to the surface temperature increasing, and that means you can even see actually here on the ground that this place there's been loss of vegetation. There's scanty vegetation actually due to loss of water, as well as of course the carbonic rain, yeah, which withers the plants, so they get to die, and that leads to desertification. Another thing is about population increase. So as people increase, like this was previously the Egypt during the agrarian revolution, you could see there was water. So due to population increase, there was now a surge in the demand for water, which is a scarce resource. As a result, due to that overfetching, actually even for underground water, you see when you fetch water from an artesian well, you to the extent that you exceed the rate at which it's replenishing itself, it ceases to be an artesian well. So it's the same thing here. So water was used, it became a scarce resource. On top of that, people had to cut down the trees, the beautiful greenery that you're seeing, to make or create room for settlement as well as farmland. So as a result, you could see the trees, the vegetation that were acting as carbon sinks, were now no longer there to sequester the carbon. So there was increased carbon concentration in the atmosphere. And we know carbon dioxide being a greenhouse gas, it will absorb the heat, the infrared rays, and at the end of the day we shall see a surge in the temperature, surface temperature, and thereafter you'll be able to see the drying effect. Yeah. Also, when you come to the aspect of farming methods, if you get to do poor farming methods, for example, you're planting only one type of crop, like here, if it was a slopy area, you're simply planting your plants, and it's susceptible to soil erosion. So you'll see even due to that monoculture, the soil get degraded, and over time you'll see the encroachment of barren land to the rest of the areas, a process known as desertification. Okay, yeah, so it's good that we practice things like intercropping, crop rotation. Don't just plant only one type of crop season after season to lead to depletion of the nutrients. Yeah. Also, when you do over irrigation, you'll tend to see it will increase the rate of leaching. So the soils will practically become infertile, yeah, because the minerals have gone to the lower layers, and thereafter you'll see that soil will now no longer be arable unless you do something to it, like maybe introducing organic manure or deciding to use the store-bought fertilizers. So another point is on overgrazing. So this could be possible by wild animals or livestock. This is what I mean. So for example, this is a giraffe. Yeah, they're feeding on vegetation. And we know in a normal food chain you need to have producers being on the lowest trophic level because there are many, thereafter followed by primary consumers, then secondary consumers, tertiary and quaternary. If you have secondary consumers being removed, let's say lions, hyenas, from the food chain, you'll see the number of the primary consumers will go up, the herbivores will go up, and that will mean there'll be no ecological balance. Why? Because the plants will now be eaten, grazed on, especially the grass and trees will be grazed on by the plants, thus leaving the land bare. And these animals will also trample on the ground, leaving the soil prone to soil erosion. In terms of livestock, when you overstock, you'll find that these animals release waste, the gases like carbon dioxide. So the more animals you have, the more the amount of carbon dioxide, and that consequently means you have your area being prone to the greenhouse effect, and that means we have global warming, and that means you shall have high evaporation, thus loss of water in the plants, leading to desertification. Also, so you can see like these plants, these are sheep, so you can see when they're in the arid areas, there'll be more further desertification and aridity. Yeah. Finally, when we get to cut down trees, a process known as deforestation, there'll be increase in the surface temperature because these trees that will have created a microclimate to regulate the temperature will no longer be there. So the carbon will increase in concentration in the atmosphere, leading to surface temperatures being high, and consequently there will be that drying effect leading to desertification and aridity. So those are the human causes of aridity and desertification. Hope you've learned something. Yeah, please comment, share, like, and also subscribe. Please, what are you waiting for? I mean, it's just a token of showing appreciation for this content that I consistently put up for you freely. Yeah, so just do subscribe. It goes a long way. So perhaps someone can ask, what is the impact of aridity and desertification? One, to lead to water shortage because of the destruction of water catchment areas, and that will lead even to wars. Yeah, because water is a resource that is really scarce. Yeah, you need water to sustain life. So without water, people will be really fighting. Another thing, we have reduced ability to fix carbon from the atmosphere. That's famine. Yeah, another thing shall have is soil infertility. That will also contribute to food insecurity because the soils will no longer be arable unless you do something about it, and that will increase the cost of production. Yet we know that food security refers to the ability to have food which is affordable, easily accessible, it is nutrition in value, yeah, sustainable, etc. So it will be impossible to have food that is affordable because the cost of production are already up. Another thing we shall have is soil degradation. Yeah, so the soil will be now prone because there is no vegetation that would have acted as a cover. So you'll tend to see soil degradation, to be prone to soil erosion. Then after, you'll be seeing things like gully, and at the end of the day we shall have badlands. Yeah, and that will also lead to the area appearing really ugly. Yeah, land dereliction. Yeah, another thing, that will be destruction of vegetation, that's susceptibility to soil erosion, as well as loss of biodiversity due to the damage of habitat. Another thing, we shall have extreme wildfires. Another thing, there shall be migration of people together with their livestock, and this will create pressure on the available resources to the area that has pulled them to where they are. So that will be another challenge. We shall also have heat waves. Possible solutions to aridity and desertification include stabilizing of sand use, afforestation, proper irrigation. We can have terracing and gabions. etc. So even regulating the stock. Yeah, that one has in terms of livestock. Until then, I've been your host, Ruth Kerubo. Hope you've learned. Until then, bye.